Hey, welcome guys. Welcome to Market Mondays. Hopefully you guys had a great Halloween and weekend. Here going to give you guys a quick update on everything that's happened last week and what's expected this week. Before I get right into it, I'm going to do a quick dad joke. Dad joke today is I constantly tell myself I'm going to go run in the morning, but I never do. It's always been a running joke. Get it? All right, so getting right into it. Over the last week, we are still in this government shutdown, and one of the biggest things that expired as of the last day of last week of the month is SNAP benefits. SNAP benefits are a really big important piece in regards to people getting benefits to afford basically food. Now we're on day 34 of the government shutdown. If this extends tomorrow, it would be officially the longest shutdown we've been in a long time. And why does this matter? Why is this shutdown is going to have a big impact in mostly just real estate and everything that we're figuring out? Well, the main thing is it's delaying the jobs report. Okay, so if you guys remember, the government shutdown started like 2 or 3 days the first week, around the first in the middle of the first week of October. So like that Wednesday is the government shutdown, and then we were supposed to get the unemployment rate that following Friday, which is literally about 2 to 3 days later. We didn't get that report. We got some other employment reports and labor market reports, which helped mortgage rates a little bit. But since then, mortgage rates have been basically kind of flat. And then leading up to last week, which was the Fed decision to lower the Fed funds rate by 1/4%, mortgage rates actually spiked up a little bit and kind of maintained at that level. So is it a bad thing? Not really, just because we've been kind of teetering these lower levels for a while, which is good. I like that we're kind of steady for the most part. But the tough thing is that we're now in the first week of November, and this Friday we are supposed to get the unemployment rate report, but we're not, as far as we can tell, based on this government shutdown and its progress. So if we don't get this unemployment rate report, there are some other things that are going to go in place of the unemployment report, but it's not going to be as impactful as actually getting the unemployment rate report. So right now, what we're expecting is in place of that, it's called the ADP employment report. It's similar, but it's not going to give us what the actual unemployment rate is going to be. So that's what's tough. We have a lot of clients looking for November 7th being the unemployment rate, which when it's supposed to be announced. And then with everything and all the data that we've seen in the last 2-3 months, really since August, the labor market has getting weaker and weaker and weaker and getting worse and worse and worse. So we just need this official report to come out so that we can see these big improvements in rates. We're expecting it to go from 4.3% in the unemployment rate to 4.4. So, and there's even more evidence of people being laid off and not having work and filing for unemployment claims and continue to file for unemployment claims. And that's what's really unfortunate, is that we're not able to get this report, and hopefully we can see these improvements in rates. Overall rates aren't bad for the most part. They're roughly the same. They've been from what I'm seeing, they're ranging in the low sixes. Not really a big change, which is nice. We've been seeing a lot of volatility in the beginning of the year, but for the most part, since really, I'd say August and really, end of June, we've been seeing it like step down further and further. These big steps down that you see in rates coincides with the unemployment rate coming out, where the unemployment rate actually went up. So in August, the unemployment rate went up from 4.1 to 4.2, which was August 1st was the first Friday in August, and it dropped. And then we saw another one in September, and it dropped. And then things got a little bit better in the middle of September, but we got the Fed announcing that the Fed rate was getting cut by 1/4%, which caused mortgage rates to go up. That's the response. And then things kind of stayed steady up until about the beginning of October, and things dropped, gradually throughout the weeks leading up to when the Fed decided to lower Fed rates again at the end of October. So, and what happened was the Fed rate went up. Or sorry, the mortgage rates went up. Not the Fed rate went down, mortgage rate went up. Now, another thing I want to say is that just because the Fed rate goes up or down doesn't mean mortgage rates are expected to trend that way. It's never that direct correlation. There's some other things that are going on. There's some other, when it comes to the context of the economy, there's a lot more layers to it than just Fed rate is this, mortgage rates do this. There's a lot more to it than that. So if there's an indication on how mortgage rates are doing, I would not follow the Fed rate. Right now, the two things I would follow are the inflation reports and the unemployment rate. If inflation's going down and the unemployment rate is going up, those are two things that help mortgage rates come down. So, but overall, we've been kind of staying in this range, which has been nice. I mean, I'll be honest, it's been nice to see things be, level off and be at the same level. Ideally, we're hoping to see rates come down further and further, but until we get this government shutdown figured out and we get the unemployment rate, we're not going to see those improvements in rates until those things happen. So that's what's unfortunate about our current situation with the government shutdown. You know, I hear there's a lot of like decisions trying to be made between two parties, and it sounds like they're in like this weird gridlock over the last 34 days, which is extremely unfortunate because there's a lot of benefits out there that depend on the government running, and without those benefits, a lot of people will be suffering, and it's just kind of silly that we're at this point. Like, make a decision. So here it's still have to do with a lot of health benefits mainly. So we'll see how this all goes. When it comes to this next week, I really hope maybe we get this government shutdown figured out by Wednesday and we get the unemployment rate on November 7th. But as of right now, nothing's happening. It's really unfortunate. I'm not a fan, but that's where we're at right now. So again, this week we'll still get some employment reports. I'm expecting a lot of those reports are going to show weaker numbers and saying the labor market is weakening, like it has been for the last year, whether those reports reflect it or not. Even Amazon announced about 14,000 layoffs in the Seattle area specifically. So who knows what the other areas look like, but that's a big thing that kind of further points at how our labor market is doing. Otherwise, that's all I got for you guys today. Nuke out.